I'm really happy to have the opportunity that I get to talk to different people about the ways that they're hearing from God, the things that He's teaching them, showing them that they're able to express and to share with us. My guest today is a friend, and she's also a colleague. And we've known each other for probably about 4 years, maybe more, maybe less than that. And the friendship part have it really started coming together, I would say, within like the last 2 years. And you know what? You find the gold in your friends, and they also help you to discover the gold in yourselves. And so when you find someone that is willing to embark on a journey about the kingdom, to talk about the things of God, to move from what you know in the business world into learning about the things that are unfamiliar to you from the kingdom point of view, then you know you've got a true treasure. And that's who I get to introduce you today, my friend Xochitl Rodriguez, who truly is a treasure. So Xochitl, please welcome back. Come on in and let's get this party started. You know, that's really true. It's the discovery. And I think that that's the thing that we're supposed to learn as it pertains to the kingdom, is to find the wealth. It is to us, it's been given to know how, but we get the joy of going on the journey with each other, learning or discovering and finding some different things out. So, do you remember where we left off last time when you were here, when we were talking?
We've had so many
conversations. Yeah.
Now we've had we've had so many conversations that I think they've kind of blended all along the same lines, though. You know, how it is that we live a kingdom lifestyle and create the ability to create wealth with it in all aspects of our lives.
Well, one of the things you were going to do is start embarking on a new, not a vocation, but a exploration, because you are in, you deal in trades as part of one of the things that you do. You're also, and I'll keep introducing you through your bio as we go. Okay, Betty Joe, we'll see you later. You are really a business consultant. You have such a great ear for, I believe, hearing the things that the Spirit of the Lord is saying to people, and you're able to articulate it very well. You, of course, are an entrepreneur, you and your brother, and the things that you have done together, you've been very successful in business. And what you found out, I think it's similar to Apostle Baker's story about, I had riches, I came into the kingdom, and it was like it wasn't on that level anymore. And no, I don't think that you're born again and you lose everything. That's not how it worked. It was simply the direction that God wanted to take her in. So she was on a trajectory that wasn't going to create the wealth. It was going to be chasing after money. And that's another thing, by the way. You know, she and Ron Jolson are talking about wealth on her Wednesday program. No, her Tuesday program. Which is really telling it like it is. And they're pulling that from, I'm going to say, the more experiential, working with wealth on a different level from where we are. And I love the fact that on Loving Unity, we have all of these different, the Tuesdays. Let me make that sure it's Tuesdays, really telling it like it is, with Apostle Dr. Baker J. Baker and her special guest. And they're doing a series, Ron Jolson. And so the things that they're talking about are, I believe, what people with business savvy and who do have investment money, they need to hear what they're talking about, because of the promotion of the kingdom over all of the understanding. And what you and I are doing are something similar to that. And I think of us as entry level, because we're having the discussion, you know, on the level of somebody that's not even heard of these things, or they're thinking that the kingdom, the idea of flowing in business and wealth in the kingdom is more of a concept, because they may not have understand the point of view of God where wealth is concerned, that it comes from Him, and that because He is the creator and we are made in His image and after His likeness, He put it in us to also have the ability to create wealth. I don't know. Did you ever think about that?
Yes. you say so much in such a short amount of time. So to address Apostle Baker and her guest, in that half hour, I took about 4 pages worth of notes, because it's like they are talking on a very completely different level than what I am living. And so getting knowledge and understanding and allowing the words to fall into my spirit is very, it fills me up to listen to them and to be able to take notes and then think and dwell on the words that they've shared throughout the week and still live it out. So over the last few weeks, months, years, I really have been diving into what exactly does it mean when God says that he's given us the ability to create wealth, and how does that apply to life? Because when I sit down and read it, it makes sense. I receive it. I accept it. It's beautiful. When a trade is going against me and I see my numbers, my account in the red, different emotions start to stir up because that's money. And so I've been living a dance with this as I look at my trades, and when they're going great, it's like they're going great. But when they're not, they're not. And so seeing that drop and then catching myself and really taking each thought captive of like, okay, why am I getting upset? The fact that the trade worked or didn't work does not determine my mood for the rest of the day, does not determine how I will be responding to all my other responsibilities for the day. And it really is about having that separation of the emotion, the attachment to whatever it is that happens with the trade. And also just being wrong. For some of us, being wrong does not sit well with us, because not from the ego, but just because we want to do what's right. We want to do good. So making money to allow for giving and spending and creating and reinvesting, that seems good. So when the trade goes against me, or seeing the red or the loss of money, it does play with the emotion on a level that is like, there's a certain level of fear that will try to creep in, and those thoughts of like, you're horrible at this, you shouldn't be doing this, stop trading, you're the worst trader in the world, you're always wrong, and like all these thoughts that just try to keep up. And whether it's business or trading or whatever it is, when we're doing something different, something new, well, for me it's not new, but when we're doing something different, there's a lot of these thoughts that come into play that can very easily say, oh, forget it, yeah, I'll just go back to what I know what to do, I'll just go back and be part of what I was doing before. And so instead of us continuing to move forward, the road of least resistance brings us back to what we're familiar with.
Mediocrity is where it brings us back to, regardless of how successful we may think that we are from a secular perspective, it's still not kingdom level. And kingdom level is it is a different dynamic. And I know that, we talk about the kingdom all the time. And that's what starts to make the difference, because whereas before we did not talk about the kingdom all the time, we talked about money, or we talked about this or that. But you made, I think, some very powerful statements here. First of all, what I'm hearing you say is, even when the trades don't work the way that they should be expected, even if it's been the loss of the investment in that moment, you're learning to respond to God and not the circumstances. And I think that that's something that should be like a banner, a sign, maybe even one of our T-shirts, respond to God, not the circumstances, because that is a key creed. It's a key mindset of it is absolutely the Matthew 6:33 mindset. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all the other things will be added. And so training your mind and training yourself to not be to follow your emotions, but instead to follow the word is such a turnkey type of thing. It's a masterful move, because that is taking you into the place of obedience, obeying God regardless. And it's also, I think, sharpening your hearing in the spirit realm to be able to hear what the Father is saying. The other thing that you said is that when you talked about, because for us doing well, doing wrong does not sit well with any of us, and it's true. And but it's like your emotions want to come in another way. If I can't get you to listen to me, it's like they're saying, if I can't get you to listen to me, as far as this initial circumstance, then I'm going to go long term. I need to work both the short term and the long term. Being in publishing, I can totally connect. Anytime I find a book that has been sent out and I'm reading through it, it's like, well, how did that error get there? I've had issues, as you know, with some of the software and some of the things. The book was great, but then when it actually published, it's like, well, where's the table of contents? What happened to things that I know for a fact were there? I have a checklist that I use. And what it does, what happens for me now, whereas before I felt so miserable, I felt like a failure. It's like, oh my God, they're going to think I'm terrible at business. And you don't really need anybody's help. Once we start damning ourselves, man, we can go at it. And you didn't do this right, and you didn't do that. I mean, it's condemning, is what I'm saying. I have to feel like I have to say that word's in the Bible, and it wasn't a cuss word, but speaking of that, we don't understand, because profanity it's vile, and it's not acceptable, and people use it. But the worst words they use are not those curse words, not the cuss words. It's the curse words. It's the things that we curse ourselves. We say this about ourselves. We say that about ourselves, and we create a swamp that we end up, or a quicksand, and you start getting pulled in to it. So I think that what you're talking about, as far as I've listened to them too, and it's just, I agree with you. It's like, wow, I can't wait till I get to wear pants like that. I'm looking forward. I mean, but we're already ahead of the game. We're already ahead of the curve, I should say, not a curve, because we're hearing it in advance. And as you said, incorporating it now. I may not have the wherewithal to work with, but I'm still going to work within this. Which, let me switch gears on you, because I think that what you're doing is setting you up. We've talked about this before, that the Lord is saying, as long as you do business on the level of making money, you are not in the arena of the kingdom, because he did not say, I give you the power to make money. He said, I give you the power to create wealth. And again, that's what he is. God doesn't go after money. He goes after, he creates wealth. And that means that he also places the value on what everything is that is tradable or what have you. And what is the greatest place that he puts value? It's on us, because that's the price paid for us, is the blood of Jesus. But here we go with you. You have this unique ground floor opportunity to learn how to do business in investments God's way. I don't know how many people do it, but I know that it's very rare. I know that up till now, I know that I've talked to a number of people that do trades, and I've said, this is what I keep getting. And, it was like, you sweet thing, but you're not in this business. It's like, I don't have to be in the business of that, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm listening to what the Spirit of the Lord is saying. And I know enough about whatever it is I do in business to know when I'm hearing the difference between what God is saying and what others think. And if I have a God idea, I'm like, if you don't want to use it, somebody will. And I've watched, that kind of thing happen. But remember, the people of the world, those especially that consider themselves to be spiritual, they're listening to a spiritual influence. It just doesn't happen to be the Holy Spirit. And so all you're doing differently is making the separation between the one you serve and the one they serve. And the one you serve can show you the finished trade. And that, I think, is very important, looking at it from the finished realm, from the this is what it looked like all the way through. This is the traveling along of this commodity or this thing or whatever it is. I'm going to follow it all the way through. And that's what it looks like from God's point of view. And I believe you're learning to do that. And maybe you are in infant stage right now, but you won't stay that way with the attitude that you just displayed. Your turn.
Yes. Walking in it can feel like mud. It can feel like, why isn't this happening already? It's been weeks, it's been months. It's like, I should be further along. And again, those thoughts that try to creep in, I do recognize the difference in me and in how I respond to the trades, to what's happening. I'm already seeing that difference. Now, for me, I want to hear it as clear as day. I want it obvious. I want it quick. There's what I want, but then there's the actual implementation of what God wants and what God has said. And so it's trying to just align myself to that. And sometimes it seems easier than at other times. We talked also a little bit last week about when it comes to others versus myself. I had a call this morning, and someone was looking to purchase a business and was asking me questions, what I thought. And so as I was sharing what he could do with that particular business, it wasn't enough for him. Like I just knew it wasn't enough. So by the end of the conversation, he's shifted the plan to look for his own building so he can do the business he wants in his own business. So he'll have the real estate and the business there. But what I found myself saying to him was, how can you help the community? Where can you draw people from? How can you incorporate your police department? How can you incorporate some of the college students? What type of businesses, what type of sporting events can you sponsor with this type of business? What can you do for your local city, for your government, your local government there? And he lit up. He lit up as we were talking about what he could do with this business to help the entire community. And he saw how everything would turn around and help him, even though that's not what he's looking for. He's not looking for recognition, but to do what is right, to do what he can do. We even talked about him hiring a high school student to come in and tutor children while the parents are at the business. So it keeps the children busy doing something productive. The parents are going to want to go there because they know they're going to get free tutoring, and he's able to provide the service he's looking to provide. So, but to see him light up, now I don't know that he's a kingdom person, but to see somebody light up at the possibilities of what they can do to service others. Mm-hmm. Because it's not about the money, that's going to come anyway, but what can you do? I mean, it was so beautiful to see that somebody who's not kingdom light up and see the possibilities. Because find that to be more exciting. It's like, even with my trades, it's not about winning. It's about what can be done. What does God want us to do with that money? Us. What does God want us to do with that money? That's not my money. I'll be in the grave and there's no money in there with me. So it's like, what does God want us to do? What does because it's not only me. I know that there'll be money you and I are going to share, money our apostle and I are going to share, money I'm going to be sharing with other people for other investments, for other resources to be able to grow some of these visions that we have. So yeah, so anyway, I wanted to bring that up because it connected to what seems to be a bit of a separation for me right now between what I see for myself versus what I could see for others.
Well, you know what's interesting about that is that what you're talking about vision wise is you help other people, you're helping him discover purpose or discover destiny. And if he resonated with that, if we want to use the quantum faith type of expression, if he resonated with that, it's because it was truer to what he was actually put here in the earth for. And whether they are future kingdom members or they're in now, it's always when we hit something that speaks to divine origin. This is what he was born to do. This is his power to create wealth. That, I think, that's the big ding, 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 ding for us. The problem for a lot of us, even when we discover, oh my gosh, I think this is it. I'm in my field and this is what I love, is that we have a religious teaching about a poverty mentality. We think I can't pursue the dream because how are you going to make any money in it? Well, you're not going to make money. You're going to create wealth. It's a different door. It's not slanted at all. It's a straightforward type of thing. And so that's a part of wealth creation that you're already, to me, it's like, see how it's starting to, it's blossoming because you do spend that time because you are kingdom minded. How do we help others? The unity, not me, but us. It's a we thing. And you are always putting that over into clients. And it's fun because when you hit what it is that they want to do, you said it changed from the money maker idea to the dream coming forth. And it's like now he's buzzing. He's absolutely going to be buzzing with it. And it's something that is like, oh, and then the tagline for my company is the words and then. So it's like Dominion Unlimited and then. And it came because I was talking to somebody and I was starting to share the dream. And I kept saying, and then this, because it's, to me, when it's from God, it doesn't have an end. It only has a continuation. And so the only thing you can do when you start to describe it is go, and then we're going to do this, and then this will happen, and then that will take place. And in marketing, they call it starbursting. It's more, instead of just trying to do the mind mapping type of thing. Starbursting is where you just keep going out further and further and further. And in the first part of it, we're not trying to connect the dots. All we're doing is saying, what else is possible? Gurus from the secular side, I'm thinking of Bob Proctor, talks about the story of what if. That it's what's called the 333 story. But he was really asking the question, if you took the limitations off of your mind, what if you could? How would you do it? Can you think of ways to get it done as opposed to thinking of all the reasons why it won't work? That's the kingdom mindset, because we come from the realm of the possible. We don't think on the impossible. On the earth, it's all about what's impossible. But from the kingdom, it's all about all things are possible. And so that's the direction that we go. So thinking about that, can you use any of that in what you do when you approach your next day of trading?
Yes, absolutely. Thinking about what is possible, thinking about God has no limitations. When I don't try to plan every single thing out, it allows for God to be able to surprise me, because some things happen in areas that I would have never thought, or from people, whether they share something or something they do. And it's like, wow, it's like, I didn't know that. Or they happen to know someone who happened to blah, blah, blah. And it just allows for so much more. It allows for the love factor to come in, the surprise factor to come in, the wow from God. All of that gets to come in when I'm not attached to what I'm doing or why it's working or not working. But yeah, it's coming from the place of the openness and keeping the focus of seek first his kingdom.
That's good. I like that. I think we're going to look forward to hearing, the things that you have to share about your adventures in this trading. I mean, you've already do things. You do so much in this particular business as well to help other people. The children's book that you wrote, co-wrote with your business owner, and just some of the other things. You're constantly seeking ways to make things happen for others. So that's wealth creation right there. That's the heart of wealth. Creating wealth. The power to create wealth is the power, as we've talked about before. It's health, it's life, it's quality of life, it's giving into every good work and charitable donation. It's having so much more, so much overflow. You never think about meeting your needs, but you rejoice in having the opportunity to meet the needs of others. I think in some of our notes, we're probably a little less than a minute out now. We were looking at, you had said that it was easier to help others to create wealth, than it was to do things for yourself. And I want to explore that some more when we come back next week. It'll just be you and I. We're going to be pre-recorded, but let's talk about how it can become easier to make it easier to create wealth yourself, if I'm making any sense.
Absolutely.
And so I know we didn't have a lot of, hi, Michelle. I know we didn't have a lot of interaction today, but I think that this is something that we look forward to hearing from those of you that do watch. Between this program and the one we mentioned before with Apostle Baker and her guest, Ron Jolson, there's a whole lot to swim in, and all of it is going to change our focus and make it strictly on the ways of the kingdom. So we look forward to seeing you again next week. My name's Lonzine. I'm here with Xochitl Rodriguez, and we have been having an exciting kingdom business conversation about the Father's wealth. We will see you next time. Thanks.